My people, forget sitting at home waiting for office jobs. If you really want to become successful, start roasting corn, start frying akara. Why waste years searching for jobs when your breakthrough is already waiting inside your own hands? People are becoming financially free every single day. You can be next.
Jesus, this is my breakthrough. I have finally discovered the business that will make me a millionaire, and I can hardly believe it is
If I
actually
told
happening.
you one woman changed businesses 4 times in 1 month because of viral social media advice, would you believe me? 1 week she was roasting corn. The next week she became an Akara seller. Before the month ended, she was making Kuli. The funniest part, every time she changed businesses, she told everyone she had finally discovered the secret of becoming a millionaire. But what happened at the end taught everyone in the neighborhood a lesson they would never forget. Just grab your snacks, sit back and listen, cause at the end of this story, I promise you, you're going to learn one or two from this.
Everybody in the city neighborhood knew Sarah, not because she was rich, not because she was famous, but because she suffered from what her neighbors jokingly called viral business syndrome. If a business became popular on Facebook, Sarah wanted to start it. If a motivational speaker shouted, "This business changed my life," she believed it immediately. If a WhatsApp message claimed someone became a millionaire in 3 months, she forwarded it before checking if it was true. Every morning, before brushing her teeth, before greeting her husband, and sometimes before saying good morning to God, Sarah's first assignment was to open her phone, WhatsApp, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. She scrolled so fast that even her thumb deserved a salary. Her husband, David, would simply shake his head. "My wife," he often joked, "if scrolling social media were an Olympic sport, Nigeria would already have a gold medal because of you." Sarah laughed proudly. "You don't understand opportunities." David smiled. "No, I understand that every opportunity you see lasts only 3 days." Sadly, he wasn't lying. Just 6 months earlier, Sarah had announced that snail farming was the future of Nigeria. She borrowed money and bought dozens of snails. After 2 weeks, she got tired because the snails were too slow. "I can't be waiting for animals that move like government projects," she complained. She sold everything. A month later, she discovered mushroom farming. She watched over 50 YouTube videos in one night and confidently declared, "This one is international business." She even designed a business logo before producing her first mushroom. 2 weeks later, she abandoned it. Then came liquid soap production. She mixed chemicals in buckets inside their compound. The whole neighborhood smelled like detergent for days. She even created a slogan: "If my soap doesn't remove your stain, I'll remove it myself." Unfortunately, the only thing the soap removed was the paint from one customer's plastic bucket. That business also disappeared. Whenever anyone asked what happened, Sarah always had one answer: "Nigeria is hard." One bright Tuesday morning, another topic exploded across social media: WhatsApp groups, Facebook reels, TikTok videos. Even people discussing politics somehow ended up talking about business. The message sounded simple: forget waiting for office jobs, roast corn, sell Akara, make Kuli. Honest businesses are making ordinary Nigerians successful. Sarah nearly screamed, "Jesus, this is my breakthrough." She ran into the bedroom where David was getting ready for work. "David," he looked up calmly. "What happened? Did fuel become 50 naira again?" "No. Better news." "What is it?" "I finally found the business that will make us rich." David folded his arms. He had heard that sentence too many times. The last breakthrough was snail farming. Sarah cleared her throat. That one wasn't my fault. And before that, mushroom farming. And before that, liquid soap. And before that, Sarah quickly interrupted him. Will you stop using my past against my future and support my destiny? David laughed so hard he almost dropped his office bag. My dear, even your destiny is tired of changing businesses. The following morning, Sarah borrowed money from her elder sister. She bought fresh corn, charcoal, a small grill, a plastic chair, and a colorful umbrella. She rented a small roadside space along a busy street. She even made a signboard that read, Sarah's Premium Roasted Corn, Sweeter Than Sugar. She wore a neat apron, tied a scarf around her head, and waited confidently for customers. As the smoke rose from the charcoal, she smiled. By next month, she whispered, I'll be driving a brand new SUV. Her first customer finally arrived. A young man stopped. Madam, how much? Sarah confidently mentioned the price. The young man looked at the corn, then at Sarah, then back at the corn. Finally, he laughed. Madam, does this corn speak English? People nearby burst into laughter. Another woman said, With this price, does the corn come with free fuel? A bus conductor shouted, If I buy two, will you also give me land in Abuja? Everybody laughed. Sarah forced a smile. It's premium roasted corn. The conductor replied, Madam, na corn we come by, no be imported television. By evening, she had sold only 3 cups. 3. Out of more than 50. She packed everything home, looking completely defeated. As soon as she entered the apartment, she threw her handbag onto the sofa. This country is impossible. David looked up from the television. What happened? People don't appreciate quality. He smiled gently. Or maybe businesses need time before people trust you. Sarah hissed. You've started again. The next morning, while still feeling discouraged, Sarah opened TikTok. Within seconds, another video appeared. A cheerful woman stood behind a huge frying pan full of golden Akara. She shouted excitedly, My sister built a house just by selling Akara every morning. The comments were even more convincing. Forget every other business. Akara is the new oil. If you wake up by 5 a.m., you'll retire before 40. Sarah's eyes became wide. She slapped her thigh. Ha! So this is where everybody has been hiding the money. Without thinking twice, she sold all her remaining roasted corn to another roadside seller at a giveaway price. The following morning, she returned from the market carrying bags of beans, onions, fresh pepper, palm oil, cooking oil, and a giant frying pan. As she walked into the compound, one neighbor burst into laughter. Madam Sarah, what happened to the corn? Sarah smiled confidently. Corn belongs to my past. My future is Akara. Another neighbor shook his head. My sister, your businesses change faster than network providers' promotions. Everyone laughed. By 4:30 the next morning, Sarah's WhatsApp status was already full of advertisements. Hot Akara available. Crispy, hot, fresh every morning. Support your own. Her friends reacted immediately. Looks delicious. I'm coming tomorrow. Keep 10 pieces for me. But morning came. Almost nobody showed up. Days passed. Business remained painfully slow. The only serious customer was an elderly woman from church. My daughter. Please, keep 10 pieces of Akara for me. Sarah's face brightened. Thank you so much, Ma. The woman smiled. I'll collect them next week after my pension enters. Sarah's smile disappeared immediately. Even the frying oil seemed disappointed. That night, she sat on the bed, looking completely defeated. Nigeria doesn't want people to prosper. David laughed softly. My dear, maybe Nigeria wants people to be patient. Sarah rolled her eyes. You always sound like one motivational speaker. She dropped her phone on the bed. Just then, Another video started playing automatically. A cheerful woman appeared on the screen holding bags of freshly made Kuli. She shouted excitedly, "Forget roasted corn, forget Akara. Kuli is the business making ordinary Nigerians rich overnight." Sarah froze. Her eyes sparkled. She slowly sat upright. A smile spread across her face. She pointed at the phone and shouted, "I found my real calling." The next morning, before the first alarm from nearby phones began ringing, Sarah was already awake. She jumped out of bed with the excitement of someone who had just discovered hidden treasure. "This is it," she whispered to herself. Kuli would change my life." Without wasting time, she hurried to the market and returned with bags of groundnuts, cooking oil, bowls, sieves, and everything she believed she needed. As she unloaded everything from the taxi in front of her apartment building, the neighbors gathered as usual. One of them laughed. "Sarah, what's happening today?" Another smiled. "Last week, you were selling roasted corn. Yesterday, it was Akara. What is it today?" Sarah proudly placed both hands on her waist. "My people, get ready. This apartment is about to produce Nigeria's next millionaire." Everyone laughed. One elderly neighbor shook his head. "My daughter, at this rate, your businesses change faster than fuel prices." Ignoring the jokes, Sarah went straight into her kitchen. Soon, the sweet smell of roasted groundnuts filled the entire building. Children peeped through their doors. One woman smiled. This smells nice." Another neighbor called from the balcony. "Madam, are you opening a factory?" Sarah grinned confidently. "No, I'm opening the road to wealth." Everyone laughed again. She worked happily while calculating future profits in her head. "If I sell 100 packs today, 200 tomorrow. Before Christmas, I'll be driving my own SUV." She even imagined herself being interviewed on television. The reporter would ask, "Madam Sarah, what inspired your success?" She smiled. "I'll simply say, consistency." Then she laughed. "No, let me become successful first." Just as the groundnuts were frying perfectly, another idea entered her mind. "I need to inspire people online." She placed her phone on the kitchen counter, opened TikTok, pressed record. Music started playing. She adjusted her scarf, smiled brightly, then started dancing around the kitchen. "My beautiful Nigerians, if you're tired of being broke, if you want to become rich before December, follow me because I have finally discovered the business that changes lives." She danced, turned around, pointed at the camera, posed dramatically while she was busy acting like a social media influencer. The frying pan was writing another story. Smoke slowly started rising, then more smoke within seconds. The entire kitchen was filled with thick black smoke. Outside, a little girl screamed, "Mommy!" "Smoke," another neighbor shouted. "Sarah, your kitchen is burning." Sarah turned. The smile disappeared immediately. "Jesus!" She rushed inside. The groundnuts had burned completely. The Kuli mixture had become as black as charcoal. The smell spread through the whole building. One elderly woman covered her nose. "My daughter, this is no longer Kuli. This one is charcoal." The whole building burst into laughter. Another neighbor looked through the kitchen window. "Madam, is this the millionaire recipe?" Even David couldn't stop laughing. "My dear, congratulations. You've invented black Kuli." Everybody laughed. For the first time, Sarah didn't reply. She quietly sat outside her apartment. Her face was full of disappointment. She wasn't angry anymore. She was simply tired. Very tired. She whispered to herself, "Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe nothing works for me." As she sat there, she noticed someone returning from work. It was Mrs. Grace, the woman who sold roasted corn every evening by the bus stop. She carried empty baskets, not because nobody bought her corn, but because she had sold everything. Just like every day. No loud announcements, no motivational videos, no TikTok dances, no Facebook Live, just honest work. Day after day, week after week, month after month. Curious, Sarah walked over. Mrs. Grace. The older woman smiled warmly. Yes, my daughter. I've tried almost everything. Snail farming, mushroom farming, liquid soap, roasted corn, Akara, and now Kuli. Nothing seems to work. What is your secret? Mrs. Grace smiled kindly. My daughter, you don't have a business problem. You have a patience problem. Sarah became quiet. The woman continued. Every week you plant a seed, but before it has time to grow, you dig it up and plant another one. Tell me, has any farmer harvested maize 1 week after planting? Sarah slowly shook her head. No. Mrs. Grace smiled. So, why do you expect your business to grow in 1 week? Those words touched Sarah deeply. For the first time, she stopped blaming Nigeria. She stopped blaming customers. She stopped blaming bad luck. She realized she had been blaming everyone except herself. That evening, she walked to the small storage room where her old corn grill had been left. She cleaned it carefully, touched it gently, then smiled. This time, I'm not quitting. The next morning, she returned to her roadside spot near the busy bus stop. Some neighbors laughed. Madam, we're back to corn again? Another joked, how many days will this one last? Sarah simply smiled. This one is staying. Unlike before, she no longer expected to become rich overnight. She focused on improving. She started serving roasted corn with fresh coconut. During pear season, she added roasted pear. She also sold chilled soft drinks and bottled water. She greeted every customer with a smile. She adjusted her prices. She listened to what customers wanted. When office workers said they didn't have time to wait, she started taking phone orders. Customers called ahead, and their roasted corn was ready before they arrived. Slowly, customers started coming back. Then they brought friends. Taxi drivers recommended her stand. KK riders stopped every evening. Students from nearby schools became regular customers. One customer posted a video online. A food content creator visited. Soon, people began saying, if you pass this road without buying Sarah's roasted corn, you've missed the best snack in the area. Business continued to grow. Months later, she bought a bigger roasting machine. Then another one. She employed 2 young women from the neighborhood. Later, she hired a young man to help with deliveries. The same neighbors who once laughed at her now stood in line with money in their hands. One afternoon, the same elderly woman who had promised to buy 10 pieces of Akara after receiving her pension smiled as she joined the long queue. She laughed and said, my daughter. So, you finally found the right business? Sarah laughed. Yes, Ma. I didn't find a new business. I found patience. Even David couldn't hide his pride. My wife, I haven't seen you this happy in years. One busy Saturday afternoon, while customers waited patiently in line, a young lady asked, Madam Sarah, what's the next trending business? Everyone became quiet. They wanted to hear her answer. Sarah looked at her busy stand. She looked at her workers. She looked at the long line of customers. Then she smiled. My next business is making this one even better. The whole queue burst into applause. Across the road, Mrs. Grace smiled proudly. That evening, as Sarah closed her stand, she looked up at the sky with gratitude. For the first time in many years, she understood something no viral video had ever taught her. Success is rarely about finding the perfect business. More often, it is about becoming the kind of person who refuses to quit when things are slow.